Well, this book is taking from a diary. I've kept a diary since I'm a child. This is from the 80s. And it's mainly about Herbert Huncke, who was a close friend of mine for many years. But it's amazing how many people who was prominent on the scene fit in these few small pages. And it's...
Can you open it up?
Oh, sure. Oh, I think, who is it? Somebody, oh, it's Raymond Foy referred to it as a little accordion side book. I never thought of it as that. And it's basically, well, the beginning of it I sort of like because it was at the last Thanksgiving dinner at my house, and my father was beginning to forget things, and so he didn't recognize some people, and he didn't recognize Louis. He hadn't seen him in a couple of years, and Herbert was very sensitive about Louis's feelings, didn't want him to be hurt. So Louis said, "I'm Louis. I'm Huncke's roommate," and my father, "You have my sympathy," and there was Herbert, getting the insult at the time, and I might add, several years later, I combined these two in a story. When my father first had dentures, and he was having trouble, and Herbert said, "I know what that's like. When I first had it, I was talking to somebody on 59th Street in Central Park, and they flew right out of my mouth." And I laughed, and I said, "What did your friend do?" He said, "She laughed like you." And then I tried to tape that some years later. At first, when I made tapings, I used to wait for a good moment. And of course, I lost the good moments by doing so, so I just let it run. And so nothing was happening, and just before it ended, I mentioned this and said, "Oh, that was something. It happened during the rush hour. Not the evening rush hour, but the morning rush hour. So the people who saw it had the whole day to laugh about it." I might add, Herbert had his choice of words. I mean, he didn't have the education, but his choice of words were very precise. Like when he first OD'd and he's surrounded by these big, beefy, red-faced Chicago cops, and when the girls had put the clothes on him, and when he got up, his pants fell down, and he was wearing these women's briefs that had just come in, and these were a delicate pink. Now, somebody might have said light pink, pale pink, but with those big, beefy, red-faced detectives, delicate pink. It's a perfect word. And at the end here, with Herbert, I guess Kerouac goes, he's just married Edie. He goes on Christmas Eve to see his mother, and Edie's alone, and in that big Amsterdam apartment, Amsterdam Avenue apartment, and he's alone with Edie. And, well, as I said in the diary, they'd eaten, they'd smoked some grass. He said, we were smashed, and somehow we ended up in bed together. And I first heard about that, and there's a book, Jack's book, which has people talking about their personal experiences with Kerouac. And so I asked Herbert, what did Jack say when he walked in? He said, well, he didn't say anything. There was nothing to say. Now in the book, he said he went to sleep. When he talked to me, he said, I left shortly afterwards. He might have gone to sleep and then woke up and left. But Herbert, he was a real, I used to say that old con man, junkie thief was the most honest man I knew. And he was. And also very sensitive about, I mean, if he wasn't trying to pull something over on you, just for the way. And I also, he was very sensitive, which one of the reasons he was such a good con man, he was very sensitive to people being uncomfortable. And I'd see him at parties. He did that with me at first when I went to my aunt's parties, and which had everyone in there. and I'd be eager to go there, and I'd say, what am I doing here with all these strangers? I don't know them. And he'd come over, talk to me for a half an hour, and break the ice. I saw him do that time and again with other people, and he was just. And also, I said this when they were honoring him at the ACCA Awards, that people complain about what Herbert took, but anyone who spent any time with him was enriched. And I loved the man. He was just, well, for the most part, almost everyone I know, including everyone in this room just about, except for you, I think, I know through Herbert. You know, it's just, and I just think of how dull my life would be without him. And even Bobby. I mean, with Bobby, we saw each other for 30 years. We never talked. We were listening to the music. We were sitting next to a woman we knew, and we started talking, and we realized we knew some people in common. I mentioned Bill Heine, and he said, "You knew Bill Heine?" And he knew him before any of us did. You know, it's just, so even Bobby, who isn't a Huncke connection at all, but I knew Bill Heine through Huncke and Jerry. And you think I should keep on going, Steve?
No, I mean, I agree with you. It's like
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't know Huncke.
Oh, okay.
I met you because of
Yeah,
Jerry and because of
exactly.
Bobby.
And I know so many people, well, Penny and Ann.